Okay. Chiboy, you are welcome. We want to start a very wonderful, educative. Thank you, sir. Welcome. We have a very good, wonderful seminar. We're about to start in few minutes from now with one of my doctor friend. So it's not going to take time. So I want to have everybody on board. Okay, you can hear me, is that right? Yeah. Okay, so today we'll be talking about making use of the moment, So I'll be joining with an optician, a doctor, and also is a public speaker. He has traveled far and wide. His medical practice was done firstly in Saudi Arabia, but now he's in Iceland. So he will be joining me for us to discuss on using the moment. All right. The doctor is already online, so I want to invite the doctor so that I'm waiting for the doctor to accept. I'm waiting for Dr. CJ actually to accept. All right, Doc.
Good morning, my brother.
I think I have to remove this so I can be hearing. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Well, I can't hear you, so I have to remove my mic so I can be hearing you.
Okay, that's okay. If I use it, can you hear me now?
Okay. Can you
hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. All right. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
How is everything, sir?
I'm good.
Okay. How is Iceland?
We're good. Cold, but okay. We're doing fine.
Okay. All right. Thank you for joining. Most people don't actually know you. We've been friends for quite a long time. We started way back in the university, and one thing or the other led us to be part of a movement right back then in the school. So, and after which we've actually needed to be very, very, very good friends. Professionally, you have done well. Having worked in Saudi Arabia as a practicing doctor, and as well now in in Iceland, and you're also the owner of Hannah. You are also the owner of Hannah Clinic in Nigeria, of which the business is still running as we talk. So I just want you to give us a brief introduction of yourself outside the ones I've just said.
Okay. You said you basically said everything. Like I just define myself as this. I'm just a simple dude who has decided to be the best of himself. Currently, I'm a certified medical practitioner in 3 continents, Africa, Asia, and Europe. So I run businesses in Nigeria. My clinic is still functioning in Nigeria. I also consult for a few other outlets in Nigeria as well. That is basically what I do, but I'm also a doctor. So, but sooner rather than later, I'm going to be leaving the medical profession to go make some real money outside the medical profession, hopefully.
Okay. That's very good. So you are highly welcome. So today we are talking about making use of the moment. We've seen what the pandemic has actually caused, and a whole lot of people, like on Sunday, I was talking about fear, levels of fear. So there is this penophobia. Penophobia is actually fear of poverty, which is actually affecting a lot of people at this moment, because most people don't have means of getting something, and while they are spending the ones they have. So there is this fear, and because of this fear, a lot of people have actually, you see a lot of young guys, people are adding weight, things are happening the way it ought not to be happening. So how do we define this moment?
This moment is a moment of uncertainty.
Okay.
Like the experts don't really know what is going to happen. They don't fully understand the intricacies of the policies that are playing out now.
Okay.
On the other side, human beings don't like uncertainty. We like to be sure of things. That is why the Nigerian system is not working, because there's so much uncertainty in the Nigerian system.
Yeah.
You open a business today, the government brings out a new policy tomorrow, the business goes down. So that uncertainty is what is killing people at the moment. So this is a very uncertain times, very trying times. But I want to say that fear is not like you said on Sunday, fear is not the appropriate reaction to times like this. Because for every meltdown, statistics have shown that for every meltdown, it produces more millionaires than it introduces poverty. So people are going to get rich pretty quick this period. The issue is, do you know how to tap into this period to get bigger and better? That's the issue.
That's very good. You are welcome, Owo Malay. You are welcome. God bless you, sir. Okay, we are dealing on making use of the moment. We want to just briefly talk on making use of the moment. And I have with me my friend, my brother, a colleague. He's a medical practitioner. He has toured the world around. As we're talking now, he's speaking to me from Iceland, where he's actually practicing his profession. So the moment actually, like you said, is uncertainty. People want to be sure. People want to be certain. Like an investor, he wants to be certain. Where do I put in my money? What do I get? Nobody wants to test the water. They want to actually meet people that have actually tested the water to tell them how deep the water is. So how do we manage this time? A whole lot of people are indoors. They don't do anything. They are just grounded. So how do we make use of this particular moment? So that, like you said statistics have shown that meltdown or global recession actually produces more millionaires than poor people. So how do we? It is people that actually know what they were doing while in meltdown that actually came out being the best. So how do we maximize this moment? How do we make use of this so that at the end of the day,
we will come out being the best.
You know, this is the beauty of life. Life is always in a circle. Like
Yes.
the Bible says that there is nothing new under the surface of the earth. And the
Yeah.
Bible was correct as regards that. So lately I've been studying history of man, previous pandemics, previous economic meltdown, previous issues that happened in the world, and it has brought so much light to my mind. So if you follow the history of man, first of all, we were in what we call the agricultural age. So the
Mm.
agricultural age was a period where man majorly got his food from farming, from rearing animals, from going out to the farm, to the land to cultivate. In the agricultural age, the major tool of trade was strength, just pure strength. That was what led to the slave trade. So
Yeah.
people in Europe that had farms, cultivations came to Africa because they believed that we had strength and we were resistant to the diseases that were killing off their own people. When they took them to the savannas to go and farm, they brought Africans to farm. But the world moved on from agricultural age to industrial age. In the industrial age, the major tool that people used to trade was what we call physical skill. And what they did then was that they introduced the education as we know it today. They created schools where they will teach you particular skills so that you will come out to work in a particular factory. Some of our parents did that kind of job for. They tell you, I worked in this company for 30 years. I worked in this company for 50 years. All they did was stamp paper or pack box or they were doing one particular skill. That was industrial revolution because industries were coming up, factories were coming up. They needed automated process. But we left the industrial age and we moved to the information age, which is
Yes.
about. In the information age, the major tool that people needed was soft skills. People needed how to program. People needed how to not, it's not just about folding carton now. It was about doing some other things particularly. So the soft skills became the major tool. Compassion, empathy, ability to talk and relate to people. Those things started coming to the surface. But that age is slowly closing and
Mm.
we're moving into a new age. And this new age is something that the pandemic is rushing to for us to go into because information is everywhere. But the major thing that is happening now is what I prefer to call the switch age, or other people will call it the Internet of Things, whereby human being does no longer become the essential value
Yes.
creator. What becomes the essential value creator is the new human being, which I call data.
Yes.
So some of us have noticed that for any website you go to now, they will ask you, do you want to accept cookies? Do you want to accept this? If you decide not to accept, you won't see the content. You are slowly selling your data. As you keep doing that, you're selling your data, they're taking your data. And that is what everybody is gathering now. So that is where man has come, and that is where man is going to. So in this age that we are diving into at the moment, the key thing is understanding the role data plays. So I tell people, the only thing you can do on a road to become the last person on that road is to stop moving.
Mm.
Stop moving, other cars will overtake you. And because other cars overtake you, you keep what? Going back, going back, going back. Imagine what happened to those businesses that, for example, those places we used to go to take pictures in university days. I
Yes.
mean, all of them are probably shut down now because people take pictures on their phone unless they want professional pictures. Those
Mm.
people, they did nothing, and therefore they were what? Extinct.
Mm.
So in moments like this, when the world is changing, you have to cash into the moment. You have to know that this is what is happening now. You have to understand that the world has moved. Okay, yes, you're strong. It was good for you when you were in the industrial age, but in the information age, strength did not matter. You see a company like I am Apple, the head office will be in US, their factory will be in China. The soft skill is in US, the industrial skill is in China. But where do they report most of the money? It's in the soft skills. So people learned that you have to build companies. That's why there was a drive in Nigeria then about SMEs, build SMEs, build SMEs. What they were trying to encourage people was to create an environment for soft skills to thrive. But it didn't really work out well for us back home because of corruption and too many other issues around our government. But that is basically what happened then. So in this moment of uncertainty, in this moment of we don't know what the future holds, we actually knows what the future holds. The future is a future where human being becomes less important in the metrics of employment and engagement. The new is data. The new is data. The new, like, if you understand this, the new is data, it changes the way you see life. I was talking to a guy in Nigeria that wants to start a business, and he was telling me that prior to this time, I don't know if you know these agric firms that used to do agriculture in the bush. They will tell you to pay in 100,000 after 6 months. They will give you ahead. So recently, the Stock Exchange of Nigeria told them they should always 10 million naira before they can even own any of those things. So that is another law that is about to put them out of business.
Okay.
Because they have to be traded companies. So, but we've been telling them these things since like ages. You have to upgrade and come to the point whereby people can access your data and find you credible. So in this moment, data is definitely the future. That's what
okay. So what you're trying to actually advise is that we should evolve. We shouldn't just be static. We should evolve, because like when you talk about human beings becoming less important, we're actually trying to make us understand that very soon artificial intelligence will take over the work that human beings are meant to do. So we've actually evolved from agrarian stage to industrial stage to information stage. Now we are now evolving into the pure technology world, whereby technology is coming to take over almost everything. So now this brings a lot of fear. This brings a lot of fear to some people. So how do you think human beings can actually, because the fact is this, the introduction of 5G, which has come to stay, will actually make a whole lot of people obsolete. I was reading something the other time. I discovered that Richard Branson has actually sold off. He has sold off his all his share in Virgin Island. He has sold it off. So he now started Virgin Galactic. Virgin Galactic is for space, whereby he had actually made a plan of taking 600 people in this 2020 to the space, for them to have 30 days holidays in the space. And each of these people are to pay 250,000 pounds for each trip. And all of them, 600 of them, have paid 100,000 pounds as advance for this trip. They want to go on in space and stay for like 30 days. They want to check how the world is going. The other time I also studied about Bill Gates and some other people in the world. They gathered in South Korea. They contributed about 50 billion to set a camera that will monitor the world in 24 hours. They want to monitor the whole world in 24 hours. So now, within a short period of time, as we've started 2020, a lot of people will go out of business. There will be obsolete. Human beings will be less useful, because artificial intelligence will take over. Robots will take over. Elon Musk is actually producing cars that in the next 5 years, those cars will be talking to each other. They will talk to traffic. They will talk to human beings, and it is self-drive. It is self-drive. Nobody will be in those cars. And only if you just stay at your passenger seat, you speak to your car, it takes you wherever you want to go. So in the next 10 years, we'll see all these cars, all these gasoline cars going into a station, the way human beings will actually go into a station as well. So I want to ask a question. How do we fit into all these things? Now, because in this 2020 upwards, a new course will start, because in 2010, IT course started so that people can fit into information age, information technology age. IT course started, of which that was part of the reason why I came to abroad to study IT. And one thing led to the other. I am where I am today. So what do you think? What do you think, or how do you think we can fit into this global obsolete that is coming on human beings?
That's a very amazing question. Like, it's something that I've listened to so many people saying things that we believe human beings should do. For example, when we left the agricultural age and moved to the industrial age, people needed to get skills. When we left the industrial age, we needed to learn how to read, write, to be able to, those were new skills we adopted. So there is a common consensus about what we call the 4 C's of the new age. Now, these 4 C's are skills that every like Jack Ma has talked about them in a way. People that I follow, Jordan Peterson has talked about it. Of course, I'm very careful of calling Bill Gates these days because people see him as the Antichrist. But he has also talked about these four C's that I'm about to share with you. These things are things that you normally do, but you don't do them. You don't see them as core. But if you must thrive in this new age, if you must adjust and put yourself in a position whereby you are indispensable, these 4 C's are things you should be conversant with. The first one is communication. It's as important as anything. Communication is very important. It's super now, because if, imagine that your business no longer, because marketing now is now done by Google. So you want to buy something, you just type, I want to buy leather jackets, and Google will tell you the shop you will buy it, where you will buy it, how much you will buy it, the closest shop to you. In fact, when they are opening, when they are closing, they will tell you, even people that bought the clothes from that shop, what they said. So marketing has been demystified in a way by Google. Google has in a way rendered marketers a little bit obsolete, a little bit, but not fully yet. But imagine that becomes the main aim, the mainstream. So what would now happen is that the people that know how to carefully talk to you about what you want to buy becomes key. So you walk into a store and you're not sure you want to buy a white shirt, but you know you're supposed to go for a dinner. So you walk in and you see someone standing there. A computer does not have the ability to appropriately communicate the feelings and empathy you're feeling to you.
Yes.
So you walk up to the person and tell the person, I want to buy this shirt. Do you think it will look nice for dinner? The person will look at it and say, sir, I don't think so. I would prefer you go with a purple shirt because you're dark toned. If you wear a purple shirt and a gray suit, it brings out the color in you. I would suggest you get a haircut. I would suggest you get these shoes. I would suggest you get this watch. I would suggest you go in this manner. That is where communication is paramount. People that can carefully and clearly articulate themselves is important. To that, you have to add your ability to speak many more languages now. The world is shrinking. So you have to learn a second language. I myself, I can speak English, I can speak Hebrew, I can speak Arabic. I'm currently learning Spanish at the moment. So these are you have to learn how to communicate. Communication is going to be very, 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 very important. If you're in a country where they don't speak English, learn the local language. It is important. It's going to be very, very important. Next thing is collaboration. Collaboration is going to be a very important skill. If you keep thinking you can survive on your own, you would not. You will surely die out. You will need to learn to collaborate. Take this for another example. If you were a vulcanizer before, people that used to pump tires in the roads and when you lose your tires, if you want to open a new business now, you can't just go and rent a massive house and say you want to open a tire servicing firm. That is not wise. That will not work in the future. What you need to do is, instead of you to open a new outlet, you go and partner with a police station. That's collaboration. You go and partner with those that are selling tires. That's collaboration. So you tell them, for every tire you sell, add 500 euros on top of the tires. So that whenever somebody buys it, you tell them, go to this place for warranty. If anything happens to this tire, go to this man. He will fix it free of charge. Now, when you go to that man, you're thinking you're not paying anything. But you know that you've paid for that service in the day you bought your tire. That's collaboration. That's behind the scenes. You're not even saying it. That is why companies like YouTube is making money. What is YouTube's content? Nothing. YouTube is just a site that hosts videos. But then because it's people that have products, services, advertise on YouTube, YouTube makes money. The person that is selling makes money. That's collaboration, again, happening. You have to learn how to collaborate. And you cannot collaborate effectively if you don't know how to communicate your ideas well. So communication comes in again. You're saying, so And all the people that used to think, I'm a one-man army, I'm a one-man army, you will not survive in this day and age. You have to learn how to collaborate and communicate. The next thing is what I call critical thinking. This is important. I was talking to the owner of the third largest firm in Europe that does data analysis, and he said that he has fired more people this period than he has ever fired people in this period of lockdown, because when he runs a data analysis firm, he partners with Google, Pixar, Amazon, all these guys. So when data comes into the office, and Google will tell you, okay, so this is the data from we've gathered in the past 2 weeks. What can you tell me from this data? What can you pull out from this data? He will give it to like 20 people, and 20 of them will come out and say there's nothing wrong with it. Everything is normal. But you see that one guy that will look at it critically and say, this data is showing that very soon people will leave this place and move to this place. And that kind of information is everything in the world now. Because if people are going to migrate, it means shares will boom. Let me give you an example. Before the lockdown, Netflix shares was about $220 per one. Immediately the lockdown went in. 3 weeks after that, Netflix went to 400 and something. If you had $10,000 in Netflix as of March, by now it is worth $20,000. That is less than 3 months. That is cashing out big time. But there was a guy that sat down and looked at the data and said, if people start staying at home more, if people stop going to cinemas, if restaurants were closed, if these things are not happening, it means people will spend more time where? At home. And if they're at home, what will they do at home? They will watch Netflix. And if they watch Netflix, what will happen? Subscription to Netflix will do what? Will rise. And if subscription rises, simple, money will come in. And people cashed out big time because one person used critical thinking, ability to look at a situation and not just look at it on the surface, but look at it underneath as well, to know what is happening, the dots, where they're connecting, critical thinking. For example, most of us that are blacks, Africans, we have a lot to do back home. Like this is the biggest time to make money back home. I'm saying this thing honestly. Last year, Jumia tried to link up with they wanted to make themselves an affiliate of Amazon, but it didn't work. The merging broke down somewhere in between. And you can see that between this lockdown, Jeff Bezos has almost doubled his money, because that's where the future that's where the future is going. People will no longer want to go to places to buy things. In the olden days, the reason why we had I don't know how many of our people online that are Nigerians that understand what I'm about to say, but people used to go and do apprentice. Now, when you go to do apprentice, you do it for 7 years. What you're learning, apart from how that business works, is to tap into the connections of your oga. He buys his products, how he ships into the country, how he stores it, how he sells it. That's the system you are trying to learn. It takes about 7 years to learn it. And then when he's now taking you out, Oduegi, he will now give you goods and services. But now, you can go to the producer directly through Alibaba. You no longer need your oga to spend 7 years. So those wholesalers and retailers are in trouble. You no longer need those. So you can go straight to the producer of the product and bring it into the country and do what you want to do. So businesses like that are slowly shifting out. So if you can sit down critically and say, look at, do you know that the beef they eat in Lagos a day is not produced in Nigeria? Beef. They import beef from Benin Republic. They import from almost all surrounding beef. So what is stopping 2 or 3 people that have serious money to say, okay, let's open a beef processing firm in Lagos? There is none. Now, people are quick to say Dangote is making all the money because Dangote is analyzing Nigerian structure and he's saying this is what people need. This is what we should go into. So critical thinking is something that I don't think we can ever replace with machines. Machines are going to do things that are predictable, that have a pattern, that have a routine. Machines will do things. But if you can be flexible, and that's why things like sports is not going anywhere. Because a machine can play football, but it will not be spontaneous. There will not be any. He will just get the ball, run, cross, get the ball, run, cross, or goalkeeper dive. But you need people that will get the ball, sometimes run, sometimes want to dribble you, sometimes pass. That's the human being. That's where the human being comes in. And the final C is creativity. Like I know this is that has been drummed over and over and over and over again. There are still apps to be made. Now let me tell you one of the biggest ones that shocked me during this lockdown. Some of you can see that I've not been able to cut my hair because it's locked down. Like there's no barbering outlet open, so I've been cutting my hair myself, which is horrible. That's why I've destroyed my hair. But there are services that people has been able to automate. I woke up one morning and I got an SMS, and the SMS said, "We are personal shoppers. All you have to do is download our app, and we'll do your shopping for you if you don't want to go out." So what they do is you just send them the list of everything you want to buy on the app, and you pay on the app. And the next 30 minutes, they come and drop up your shopping and go your way. You don't see them, you don't meet them. Like that means that if you want to stay in your house for 2 months and don't go out, there is a system that can do that for you. Now imagine in a country like Nigeria, if you can bring in that kind of trusted service provider, that is a solution that people will be crying for. Like the app just bridge. You don't have to start traveling to a very remote place just to get a particular thing. No, you just put the list on the app, and before you know it, it comes down. And most of these things are things that we in Africa, we have the number. Maybe we don't have the road network yet. Maybe we don't have the data yet, because some things those people that sell it are not even online. You get? So if somebody can be creative enough and say, okay, I want to create, I've been saying this thing for over years. If someone can create a census app that can count the people in Nigeria, you will be richer than you can imagine. So there are so many things to be done, but in this lockdown, people did not use it to think. That is the biggest problem. People used it to have sex, misbehave, drink. I mean, the statistics of beer consumption in Europe alone has doubled in the past 2 months. Drink, sleep, watch movies. I'm not against watching movies. I like to watch movies. Play games. All those things are good. But this was a time for you to sit back and ask yourself, what can I do best?
That's mind blowing. I love this communication, collaboration, critical thinking, and creativity. I think anyone that digs into all this will come out not just within this period, but as time expands, the person will actually be something meaningful. The other day, my younger brother called me, so he told me he was actually calling me to inform me that he invested his money. So he thought I would actually praise him for actually taking that bold step. What did he do? Our last born. So he said, because he's now in Cyprus. So he was telling me that he went to buy some surplus. So I said, you bought what? He said he bought about 2 surplus. So he now quoted how many millions he bought it. So I was telling him, I said, are you stupid? What do you mean? Are you stupid? He said, I have the money, so I needed to buy it. My mom did. I said, you have. So my wife was like, why are you asking? Is it not a good thing? So I looked at her, I said, look at what you're saying. Are you encouraging this boy to buy surplus when he's still in his late 20s? When by the time his age will add more 10 years, those shops will, most businesses that are shaded on stores will no more be there. So there is nothing on this world that will make that shop shop lot to appreciate with time, unless our society decides not to develop with the movement of the world. So I was telling my, I said, every business is online. Every business, the biggest business, they're online. All you need to do is get what you want to do, produce what you want to do, perfect it, although nothing should be made to be perfect. Because if we are, one of the reasons of which we are coming to that, one of the reasons why a lot of people don't actually come out with whatever idea they have is that they feel that they will be criticized. They feel that they are not, it's not as perfect as they ought to be. But they forget the fact that brands like Apple, Samsung, all these car manufacturing companies, when they manufacture a car of 2020, the car of 2021 is a correction to car of 2020. It's a correction to the mistakes. So nobody is perfect. All you need to do is you keep adjusting, keep putting things. But at least you have to come out. You have to come out. Come out in your mistake. Like all these superstars that act movies and have some songs. When you go back to their #1 songs and #1 movies and all that, and the first cars that were manufactured, you see some inadequacies and inefficiencies. But because they were ready to be upgrading, you know, doing some things, patching up and all that. Now we have Samsung 10, whatever. Within the next 6 months, another one will come out. To do what? To destroy the strength of the former one. To tell you that the former one everybody was celebrating had actually a mistake on it. There was a mistake that is embedded. So they are bringing the new. Hence, our brain is functional. We will keep on seeing things that we used to celebrate as an obsolete something that there are, to make us understand that there are a lot of mistakes. So I was telling myself, what my younger brother actually did was the greatest mistake anybody of his age can do, by going in to buy shop lots when he knows that all the shops in the world are on the internet. I was asking myself, my wife, so who do you think will be in those shops? So my wife was like, wow. My wife was just looking at me like, you actually saying something. Like you are, even if you give me a shop lot at 10 kobo at this present time, my very self cannot buy it, because anything I want to create, in fact, the truth is, most people that are selling both restaurant, both beauty products, anything now, most people that are selling faster than every other people are people that are selling online. And that is where that critical thinking comes in, because they've discovered that all the data and all the people are now on internet. Like you check Facebook. Facebook has 1.5 billion visitors every day, every single day on Facebook. You can check it. Every single day we have about 1.5 billion people visiting Facebook per day. So this is a very wide range business organization, whereby anything you push up there within the next 2 minutes is all over the world. It's all over the world. I was telling my wife about a young guy who we were watching one of his production. We were watching one of his. Okay, I was telling a friend on Sunday. We were watching one of the guy's production. So I said, this person you are watching his production now, a year ago, according to the young guy, according to him, he was homeless. He was homeless to the point that he went to squat with his friend, to the point that according to him, he said he was sleeping on the floor. He was homeless until the idea of creating short movies came to his mind. And seeing that YouTube is the market, he just did first thing. Second, as I'm talking to you now, the guy has on Facebook, the guy has on Facebook about 6.5 billion viewers within 1 year. 6.5 billion viewers within 1 year. And you know what that means. You know, within 1 year, somebody that was a homeless. So when we talk about critical thinking, when we talk about critical thinking cannot come if you are not creative. If you are not creative, it goes intended. And there are a lot of things here, like what you have said. Some persons might not communicate well. That's why that's why we need collaboration. So if you have this critical thinking, if you are creative, now you can collaborate with someone that can communicate well. Like the man I'm talking about, is not the one coming out of all his movies. All he does is, he just, at the end of every movie, he just say one thing or the other. Just give a random or summary of whatever people have watched. And he has 6-point-something billion viewers within 1 year. Now he's living in Beverly Hills in New York. Somebody that was homeless, living in Beverly Hills in New York, travels the whole world. So those are the things. In this age, a lot of people don't want to take the risk to actually be something. So how do we, I want to ask you, how do we push ourselves? Okay, like today I was telling my wife something. My wife came to my study room. So she was dancing. She said, Daddy, I missed one thing. I said, what's that? She said she missed fellowship, school fellowship, all those school stuff, school, Bible college, Bible schools and all that, fellowship in school. So she said she really missed that. I said, wow, that's good. I said, but with my knowledge now, I don't think those guys actually need those fellowships. That what they need now is more of seminars that would help them to actually embrace the society the moment they graduate. That there are a lot of people that actually joined us, if not that we have this grace to be better off. A lot of people that were doing the fellowship of a day, praying, compassion, and all that, that graduated up till now. We left school since 2009, 2008, 2010. But we still have a lot of us that are still looking for job. They are still looking for job. So I was telling my wife, I said, if those times that we were in school were actually exchanged into seminars, teaching these guys how to embrace future, teaching them a lot of things. Do you know that I actually opened my first Facebook in school, UT. UT actually opened my Facebook in the room, but I don't know what to use it for. I actually opened my first Instagram in school. I don't know what to use it for. So, but had it been, we had knowledge on how to use all these things while we were in school, 5 years in school, 6 years in school, 4 years in school, you will take those times to build this profile. It is this time that I now come to know the value of friends in Facebook. So at this age, I'm now adding people as friends when I'm supposed to have over 4,900 people. And those times, people were sending me friend requests, but I don't have any need for it. I thought, what am I going to talk with this person? What am I going to say with these people? But at the long run, you discover that this is where these are the people that can advertise you. When the time comes, if you have 5,000 friends, you project your business, or although people hate to announce the success of their people online, you project whatever you have, and you discover that among your friends, they decided to push it. Globally, people will understand. So how do we fit into, or how do we come up and be something, even in the midst of fear, or inadequacy, because people want to be perfect before they go into something. People want to be perfect before they go into something. The truth is, a lot of us are scared of something. In 2000 and sorry, I'm taking time, but in 2016 or 17, somebody came to me and said, Pastor, why don't you start online preaching and all that, online business? I said no. So I took it into spiritual matter. I said, Spirit of God have not told me. I could have said, so I said, Spirit of God have not told me. But I didn't know that God was actually talking to that person. God was actually using that person to talk to me. Now, this lockdown has made it is eminent that I have to talk to my people online. And my brother, the truth of the matter is the response are massive. The response are massive. I know what I'm saying. The response are massive. Now you come to understand, people gives you response when you are online to tell you, hey, even in your inadequacy, there are people that are commending you. telling you it is good, it is. So we have to ignore the naysayers and the people that doesn't want to lift our hands and focus on people that appreciate us in our own little way and help and stand on that appreciation and move on. So how are we going to actually push ourselves into this world, even in the midst of our inadequacies?
I want to. My advice is this. If you want to get into this period whereby you can develop yourself to be able to be indispensable, because I like using the word indispensable, because anything that someone can do to reduce the cost of business, they will do it. I'm a business owner and I advise businesses, and that's the truth. If I can find a cheaper way to get my raw materials, I will do it. If I can get a cheaper labor, I will do it. That is why companies are in China. So the key is, how can I make myself indispensable? That is the key. That is, how can I make myself indispensable? So one of the things is knowledge. Knowledge. You have to go for knowledge. You have to go for knowledge. Now, you talked about seminars. The truth is this also. When we were in school, some of those seminars were there, but for some reason, maybe we did not value, yes, let me say this way, we did not value it as much as we value it now, because we could not see the future then. So those that could see that future prepared themselves for that future. So there were a few people that could say, this is where the world is going to. So let me go to these seminars so I can be in that future. So it's always a tricky thing that, like, some people online now, why are they online? Why are they watching us? Because they believe that there is a future that is coming, and what they can hear now can prepare them for that future. So the first thing is knowledge. The second thing is, you have to believe that you are inadequate. Now, I've met people that are just too proud. They will tell you things like, nothing, when the time comes, we go survive, all those things. No, that's the wrong thinking. You are not adequate now. The present CJ now cannot be enough to tackle the problem that the future will bring for CJ. So CJ has to sit back, cut back, develop himself to the point that when that future comes, he can future in that particular role. So it's important that we, first of all, seek knowledge first, but two, in a way, recognize that we are, yes, they call it a mental conundrum, because you have to believe that you're adequate, but you also have to believe that you're inadequate. Because if you believe you're adequate, you will not strive to grow, you will strive to be better, you will not strive to improve. So it's important that in your own little way, you say, okay, because knowledge is progressive. Knowledge is progressive, you get. So what you know today might be outdated tomorrow. So you have to quickly learn the next thing. Learn the next thing, learn the next thing. And like that, if you pursue knowledge like that, you will be on top. There's something that Will Smith said, that in recent interviews, he said again, he said that you might be smarter than him, you might be more handsome than him, you might be taller than him, you might have all the connections than him, but you would never outwork him. Not possible. So that is his mentality, and that is the mentality we see what's happening in the world now with the whole racism and black things and stuff. I'm practicing in Europe, and if I open up and tell you what we go through, you might not appreciate it. Every single time you have to be twice as good as the other person. Twice as good, not twice as good. Because if you're not twice as good, they'll pull you down. So these are things that you cannot come in and start in, okay, fine, I've arrived, I've settled. No, you have not. This is just the beginning. Pursue knowledge, pursue growth. These are important things: knowledge, growth. And one final thing I want to say is this: there is what we call the concept of the map and the mirror. This concept is mind changing. I'm just going to drop this concept here, and those of you online that can tap into it, it is going to change your life forever. It is concept of the map and the mirror. I believe that every human being should have a map and a mirror. What does that mean? A map is someone that you can look at and follow his footpath to the future. A mirror is someone you can look at and that can point out the inadequacies in you.
Mm.
Most times, you can't find the two things in one person. It's rare most times. But if you find that two in one person, you are blessed. But if you don't, look for them in different people. A mirror should be someone that can look at you and tell you, CJ, this one you're doing, you're messing up. Pick up your slack, man. You're dulling. Get out of the bed. Do that course. Go and learn that course. He doesn't know. Yeah? He doesn't know why he's telling you that. But because each time he sees you, like both of us now, whenever we talk,
Yes.
sometimes it's a bit as if we are aggressive. But when we talk, I'll tell you, Nahi Megana also, Kasem Naki Megana, and I don't have an option to listen because as I'm looking at you, I'm changing. As I'm looking at you, I'm changing. I'm looking at you, I'm changing. But because our paths might not be the same paths, I might not do exactly what you're doing.
Yes.
So I will need somebody else that is a map, that is following the path that I want to follow. And I also listen to him. The mistake is that most times we can't find these people, or even if when we find them, we don't listen to them. You think that guy is just telling you that thing because he's ahead of you. He's not. He's just looking at you.
You know what?
You're messing up.
You know what? You know why I'm laughing? I just I wrote a short drama because all this while after I take my spare time to write drama because I have my YouTube channel, I have my Facebook page. You know the most funny thing when you are talking about EMMANUEL and mirror, it just looked as if the video I want to push, I want to upload after this our live chat, that you just went into the script of the video because the video is talking about, you know, in another to rephrase it, it's talking about feedback. It's talking about feedback. And when I was concluding, I wrote it. Two of my members acted it. They acted it in a hotel. Nobody knew about this. We're about to push. After this moment, I'll just push it in my Facebook page and my YouTube channel. Yeah. Now, I was talking about feedback. How that if you are in a family, a husband cannot do well unless a husband asks the wife, "How am I doing?" Now, the wife sees the black spots that the husband does not see. So the wife becomes the mirror that will show the husband that in your face there is a spot. But if you don't ask for this feedback, you might think you are doing well. But if you sincerely ask for feedback from what I said it will help you. It will help in your personal and professional growth. So when you are talking about mirror and map, I was just laughing. I said, wow, this guy just dive into what I've just concluded, that my wife just finished editing the video in my study room, and we were about to push it. I said, let's just finish after the Instagram live chat. We will now. So what you are saying is perfect. And on Sunday, last week Sunday, I thought about something. I thought about value. A lot of people miss it when they don't have value. Like you are now. You are in Europe working. If those people does not see a doubled value from you, they can't retain you immediately. Sure. They can't retain you. So it is your value that actually kept you where you are, even in the midst of other best doctors in Europe. Now, I was telling them using I cited 2 Kings chapter 4 about the woman that lost the husband, telling the prophet, the prophet died because he had no value. There was no value. So if he had value, he wouldn't have been in debt. If he had value, creditors wouldn't have been asking for his children. Now, the prophet did not ask the woman, why did your husband die? The prophet wanted to know, do you want to remain in the situation? Do you have any value that can change your life? The woman said, I had oil. There is an oil. It's okay. Oil, take this oil. Go inside your house, collect vessels, lock it, start pouring it. Now, when value can increase by knowledge, like what you said. Value can increase by. Now, from what I discovered from that particular text in the Bible, I discovered that when the woman asked the children, bring me more vessel, they said there was no more vessel. I discovered that the value can hear. That's all he had. All you stop pouring when he had. It's not that they said there was no more vessel and the oil started spilling on the ground. No, the Bible says they said there was no more oil. Immediately the oil stopped running. The oil had when they said we don't need another knowledge. We don't need to increase our value. So the moment they stop getting expanded in value, the stream of the value cut off. And we saw 10 virgins in the Bible. These 10 virgins, the Bible called 5 foolish, 5 wise. Why? Oil, which I call also value. They lack value, so they can be accepted to the home of the bridegroom who came to marry. So people don't understand the meaning of value, how they can increase the little. There is nobody on earth that has no talent. But it's just that we don't want to improve on it. That talent is the oil. Is the oil that will get us out of every depth of life. Out of so when you don't discover your own, I'm working for this man, I'm working for this person, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But you don't want to look inside yourself. The prophet asked the woman, what do you have? He said, I have oil. So from that value that she had, there has to be an increase. So we have to be empty, we have to empty ourselves so that our value can increase. And the more we are getting it, you say something, that most of us are proud to admit that we are inadequate. That's the problem. The moment you say you've known it all, the value will stop coming. You have everything you think you have known, you will be making use of it. The man now say, okay, the man didn't tell the woman, go and find another more vessel, because they've already said there was no more vessel. He said, okay, go and sell the ones you have, because the oil you have had. And this oil was in their house. They didn't discover it. It was in the house all this while. They didn't know that the talent inside of them that can break them out. And maybe this man died of high blood pressure or thinking on how to pay them and all that, because he had no value. He didn't even know how to increase the value in his heart. So I really want to appreciate.
He didn't have critical thinking. If he had critical thinking, he would have put in the oil.
He didn't have critical thinking to actually maximize the moment that he found himself. Doctor, I really want to. It is great. I know you are, like you told me, you say you are going to work. I don't know the time of your. I don't know the time of your.
I have to be living right about now.
I want just your final word. Your final word. I really appreciate this. I know we are going to come back next time for another brainstorming topic. Please, all the listeners, if whatever we are saying has made sense to you, you can just indicate. It can indicate. Let's see your reactions and all that as Doctor gives us his final concluding word.
So I want to tell you this very short story. There is this wise man that was living at a mountain, and there were these kids in the valley. So every day they would go to this wise man, and whatever they asked the wise man would say. He had the answer. He had the answer. They kept trying. They kept trying. The wise man always had the answer. So one day, one boy said, "I know the trick." He went and caught a butterfly, and held the butterfly in his hand, and climbed up the mountain with his friends, and went to the wise man and said, "Is this butterfly alive, or is this butterfly dead?" The wise man looked at him and smiled and said, "The butterfly is in your hands." My statement to everybody here is that your life is in your hands. You have the choice to either kill the butterfly or to let the butterfly live. But if you want someone else that is alive, nobody can do that. Your life is in your hands. Either you kill it or either you let your life blessing. You decide.
Thank you so much, Doc. Thank you. God bless you. Our time is up. 5 seconds.